We seem to have breaking news. Apparently, the FBI has found the USB thumb drive they were looking for. Mr. Bolton was reportedly hiding it under his mustache. This is apparently the same technique he used to smuggle information in and out of the State Department. Apparently, it was President Trump who alerted the FBI to make sure they checked under his mustache. He said, and I quote, "Make sure you look under that son of a bitch's mustache. I never trusted that mustache."
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey.
Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Some people say it's retribution. I say, who cares? You know, don't lecture me on timing of lawfare. Don't lecture me on politically motivated, investigations. You guys invented this stuff. You love doing it to Trump because you didn't think it through. You were so confident that Trump was toast, that you could rattle off free punch after free punch after free punch without any fear of reprisal. So yeah, is it retribution? I don't know. But when you think about the constant lawfare, the gerrymandering, the Dems never expect it to happen to them. They're like home invaders who didn't expect a well-armed occupant when they showed up. And Trump is well-armed. This is kind of an ongoing masterclass for the Republican Party, the new Republican Party. To quote Greasy Gav, how to fight fire with fire. The conservative movement, which I loved for the longest time, they were kind of happy to fritter away their influence and power on the notion that they were always above returning fire. I write for National Review. This is disgusting. Let's write a 4,000-word piece on judicial reform. And then they don't do anything. They go back and smoke their cigar. They always felt it was beneath them to get in the ring and hit back. So it's one of the presents that Trump gave the Republicans that they desperately needed were balls the size of Jupiter.
And if you actually have an exclusive report on all of this that I haven't even posted on Twitter yet, came in just as I was coming in to get ready for the hit here. So this is what I'm getting. This is going to be a War Room exclusive here from Human Events. That CIA Director John Ratcliffe provided Kash Patel access to U.S. intelligence that served as the basis for the warrant to raid Bolton's house. So this is basically what we were thinking about, and this is an individual familiar is telling me this. They're saying Bolton disingenuously attacked Trump for mishandling classified information. It will go down as one of the most audacious and ironic acts of malice in political history. Bolton should have been throwing stones in his now raided glass house. And this was something, I think, Steve, you and I talked about it when John Bolton's book came out, that he was known for these yellow legal pads, that he would take notes during every single meeting that was going on when he was the national security advisor. And there were a lot of questions as to what exactly was the handling of those notes. Did those yellow legal pads make it home to him? And because there was a lot of information that was in there that also ended up in his book, which was publicized. And by the way, part of which was leaked to the New York Times, even went back to my own reporting on this, part of which was leaked to the New York Times before it even came out in publication. So there's a lot of questions about who leaked it in the first place. Was it leaked during that period where they're supposed to be scrubbing it for classified? And these yellow legal pads, what information did he take? Because classified information, here's a great example. So even if you don't have documents, if the information that you have written down on your documents is classified and you take your document home, that's still taking classified information out of a classified area. That's still taking it out of the SCIF. So if you're in a position like the Oval, if you're in the Situation Room, etc., you can't just take that home. And in fact, the information in your mind is still also classified. That's why you have a lifetime NDA. That's just the nature of classified information. So I know there's a lot of people who focus on documents. I'm sure there's going to be documents that we're talking about here, but this is very clear. It's information that is classified, not a piece of paper.
Give me that from the CIA Director Ratcliffe again. Can you do that one more time? It's pretty amazing.
John Ratcliffe provided FBI Director Kash Patel access to U.S. intelligence that served as the basis for the warrant to raid Bolton's house. So these are documents, some kind of information that the CIA held, that they were probably using that as a check to go into this warrant to say, these are the things you're looking for, that they provided, and this is going towards the probable cause for the raid that took place this morning. I believe is still ongoing.
Other news, the Trump administration is dismissing claims from Democrats that the raid on former National Security Advisor John Bolton's home and office was retribution.
Alexandria Hoff is live from the White House with more. Good morning.
Oh, boy.
Well, good morning to you. FBI officials have not confirmed the reason behind Friday's search of Bolton's home and office, though administration officials are saying that it is in relation to the handling of classified material. But Democrats think this is purely personal.
I think this is clearly retribution. I mean, the idea that
Adam Schiff on NBC. How is he still free? How ain't they ain't put his butt in handcuffs? I'm just saying. How is he still walking around free, brother, head and shoulders? And the hell with NBC. They ought to shut that mess down. And has that heifer still got a job at Meet the Press? They ought to shut that whole thing down. Shut the whole building down, the whole headquarters.
they just picked John Bolton, a prominent critic of the president, at random. What the president is trying to do here is very systemic.
What the president is supposed to do here? Very systematic. He's on a revenge tour. He's attacking democracy, threat to democracy, our sweet cinnamon sugar democracy. Put brother Head and Shoulders in handcuffs. I'm ready to see him walked out.
And systematic, and that is anyone who stands up to the president, anyone who criticizes the president, anyone who says anything adverse to the president's interests gets the full weight of the federal government brought down on them.
It's the same script. They say the same exact thing over and over and over. I really hope these individuals are held accountable. These scums, Democrats, these politicians are held accountable, man. Because all they do is run up to the fake news media and repeat the exact same thing over and over and over.
Now, Bolton served for a year in President Trump's first term as National Security Advisor. Their relationship soured after that. President Trump said Friday he did not want to get involved in the FBI operation, which, according to the New York Post, was part of a probe into allegations that Bolton used a private email server to send highly sensitive classified documents to friends and family while working at the White House. Here's the vice president.
I suspect that if the media and the American people let this case actually unfold, if they let the investigation unfold as it's currently doing, they're going to find out that what we're doing is being very deliberate and being very driven by the national interest and by the law here, and that's as it should be.
A senior FBI official told the New York Post this weekend, quote, the Biden administration had probable cause to know that he had taken material that was detrimental to the national security of the United States, and they made no effort to retrieve it. Now, Bolton has not commented on this. He's also not detained, and the vice president said if there was no crime, there will be no charges. Guys.
Thank you, Alexandria.
Thank
you. Yeah. In other words, be patient. There's more to come. I can't tell you exactly what's coming your way in terms of what Bolton did and didn't do.
Let me see what the hell Kyle talking about. It says, now we know why FBI raided Bolton's home. This is going to blow your mind.
John Bolton, he was raided by the FBI, and it's been a mystery about what exactly the Federal Bureau of Investigation was looking for. Well, we have a very good idea of that now as new reports surface here on Monday that really tell us the side of the story that we need to hear. Well, before we get into that, please like as journalism. John Bolton has become sort of a media darling overnight. Pro-Democrat media that really couldn't stand him for the last 10, 15, 20 years.
I really can't stop looking at his mustache. I'm sorry, y'all. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. I should have not interrupted and said that. But every time I see a picture on the screen somewhere, I can't help it. I just take a good look at that mustache.
Has suddenly warmed up to him because, well, he's become a target of an FBI investigation. And they raided his home and they were looking for information that could potentially lead to criminal charges. Well, all of a sudden, Trump is supposedly out on vengeance, and he's looking to get revenge against his political enemies, but...
Not revenge, accountability, justice. People got to be held accountable. That's all we rooting for.
It's not all that deep. Here's the story. They are looking for certain classified documents that will tie him to foreign operations, whether it be NGOs, pay for play.
This might have nothing to do with classified documents or about classified intelligence that Bolton printed in his book. Trump Justice Insider Mike Davis says Democrats, rhinos, and reporters who think this raid on John Bolton is about his book will be very embarrassed when the search warrant becomes public. Primetime's hearing Bolton was making a lot of money from overseas and may have been trafficking in intelligence. That wouldn't be putting America first. Constitutional scholar Jonathan Turley, who we just heard from, says Bolton could be looking at up to 20 years in prison. So Bolton should take his own advice and take a big, beautiful, deep breath.
I think it's important that everybody take a deep breath here. This is a very serious matter, and it would be better if
his seedy NGO world, the background, if he didn't declare himself as a foreign agent, for example, there could be criminal charges brought against him in that regard as well. So the classified documents that they're looking for, this is really delicious because I remember a certain president being raided for classified documents. What was his name? Oh, President Trump. That's right. After he left office, the Biden administration weaponized the FBI, authorized them to use deadly force, sent him to the White House's alternative office.
And as you know, they did more than just weaponize.
In Mar-a-Lago, and all to look for classified documents that Donald Trump had the right to possess because he was the president of the United States. And they sent him in there, the FBI, they sent in these agents, and they ransacked his home, went through Melania's underwear drawer, basically ransacked Barron's room, just totally violated him. And that seemed to be the point. It's now come out, there's more information now in the last few weeks. This is a complete fishing expedition. They were looking for Russiagate documents because they didn't want Trump to blow the cover off of their operation, which weaponized the government in the first place. So no, Donald Trump is not weaponizing the government against his enemies. He is trying to enforce the law. And if Bolton is guilty of breaking the law, he should be held accountable because remember this phrase? No one is above the law. No and that one. Includes John Bolton. And there are others who are, I'm hearing from little birdies, are about to go down next. But more about that in a forthcoming video.